we'll kind of go a bit more deeper into teaching activities.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Katarzyna Mroczek-Dąbrowska, and together with my colleague from the Poznan University of Economics and Business, Aleksandra Kania, we will share some deeper insights about teaching, especially in the field of international business, with the use of video case studies. From my part, I will start by sharing with you some information that can be found with literature review on how different video documentaries, also video cases, but more overall videos can be used as a supplementary material tools, but also instead of the typical text-written cases that are very often in use with the lectures. First of all, if we can draw some information on what Filip has already shared with us. The video use is, as has been mentioned, the preference source by the Generation Z. But maybe let us dwell on the reasons why videos are definitely such a preferred source of learning material. First of all, it shares quite a lot of credibility. Credibility since the viewer can observe not only the information that is being shared by, for instance, the executives, but also the way they share it. They see the emotions and the dynamics that is followed with the case, which in case of written texts is not easy to be conveyed. Therefore, the videos gain much of the authenticity with conveying the message. Also, while we're writing or reading a written case study, there's always a bit of a question mark over the subjectivity and how it is being understood by the writer, who is not necessarily, in most cases, not the person that is conveying the actual process that has been taking place in the company. Also, one of the most important features is that students normally, while reading 30 pages of different cases, are not very much engaged. They lack or lose focus while being engaged in the process. Therefore, seeing a video might be perceived by them as more fun, and by fun they they actually do learn more within the process. The videos are embedded in the so-called 3 Eyes framework. This framework has been developed by Young, and it gives a view on how image can be also interactive and engaging, how it integrates different ways of perceiving materials. By image, we mean not only videos, but also any kind of visual materials are definitely sticking more profoundly in the viewer's mind than a simple line of a text. It can be reviewed more easily and can be remembered, as research has shown, after much more time than when you're reading something. This is why these visual materials, visual aids, are definitely more engaging and more efficient and effective in conveying some kind of information. What is important, videos cannot be used as a kind of stand-alone way of teaching. It means that it requires interactivity with the students. A video itself is a tool that needs to be implemented during the lecture in order to be effective. Video itself, or any kind of image, cannot convey the message by itself. That's why this interactivity and this framework is very much needed and embedded. Students are very much encouraged by the views, by the image, because normally this kind of tools convey only the most important and essential information. Meaning that in different written case studies, there are different information that any kind of numeric data that is not necessary and essential to convey the message that is being brought within a particular subject. And that's why with this kind of a limited scope of information that is being conveyed and the interactivity, there's a greater integration of the theoretical framework and with the real business message that is conveyed within these different videos. Now, let me hand over to Aleksandra, who is going to go through through our survey that we have done within the scope of the project that Filip mentioned. And there we have quite a lot of information on how video cases can be the preferred method of teaching within the international business field. Aleksandra?
Yes, thank you, Katarzyna. Good morning, welcome. Thank you very much for tuning in. As Katarzyna mentioned, I would like to share with you some data that derives from our online survey. The study was conducted in November, from November till January 2019, so already some time ago, and it was conducted mostly among IB academics. The questionnaire had closed questions supplemented by open-ended inquiries on currently available and used teaching methods and tools. The questionnaire was prepared based on our own experience, literature review, pilot interviews, and interactions that we had with experts on ID teaching, including both academics and business consultants. As you may recall, you also were sent electronically the survey, as the survey was electronically sent to all AIB and IBA members. We've received 209 responses, and out of these 116 were of sufficient quality, say, to be used in the analysis. And as you can see, one of the questions asked was, do you use video or other audiovisuals as teaching material? And no surprise there, 90% of IB lecturers responded that yes, they do use video and or other audiovisuals as teaching material. Okay, so this is the data that you've also seen on Filip's presentation, showing that most IB lecturers actually prefer video cases and interview as their digital material that they could use in the classroom. And these two are much more preferred than screencast, talking head, or web lectures. Okay, so the main barriers of using video cases or podcasts or films or documentaries during their lectures, IB lecturers said that, well, it's very difficult to find the right digital resources. As Katarzyna mentioned, there have to be certain aspects in these resources to be able to use them. And basically, IB lecturers answered in the survey that it's really difficult to find appropriate materials. Only 20% of the respondents considered finding a video case an easy task. Over 80% said that it's a difficult task and they have a problem with that. Most academics are using YouTube as one of their popular sources where they find the videos they use in the classroom. 10% mentioned that they use Vimeo, and the others used different publishers, so TED, HBR, Pearson, BBC, and so on and so forth. They've mentioned, to sum up, that they want to use these materials. They highlight that it's a trend, and they place a very strong emphasis on digital tools, as the demand for these materials is high. But they, as I said, have still difficulties in finding appropriate video material. Not always video material that you can find on YouTube or Vimeo will be right for the pedagogical purposes. So we've noticed a gap, and this is the gap that covers mostly pedagogical requirements of the teachers in terms of content, length, usability, and the requirements of the students in terms of enhancing their learning capabilities. And now I would like to show you an example of one of the video cases that our team members in Belgium has filmed. Just to give you a brief overview how our video cases are going to look
I am an electronic engineer by training. I was working at the University of Antwerp in the Center for Care Technology, focusing on adapting products for disabled people. A friend and I had a fun idea one evening when we were going out to create an interactive urinal. So we created a place to pee, a urinal equipped with sensors to detect in which direction the person was peeing, so they could play games on a screen. That was fun, but we soon ran into problems because the ceramic urinal got dirty and the sensor was incapable of properly detecting the direction. So purely out of love for technology, we started to look for a solution.
Look, there was a basic technology that we needed to develop into a useful product. So we wrote a technological grant proposal and submitted it to a government grant agency. This was a first validation, given that some experts were going to have a look at our submission and determine whether it was a viable idea. If approved, it would also allow for the necessary financial support to develop this basic technology into an effective product. So we worked almost 2 years perfecting the technology and making it into a product.
We got this idea to start up a business almost by accident. Both Jan and I saw the potential to do some wonderful things with it. We wrote this proposal for a government grant, which we got, and we subsequently carried out. That's really how this company started. We first started to develop a sensor for flushing a urinal, which was better than anything on the market. Better means that there are no false flushes, so we are water saving. It is also resistant to vandalism. So we focused on developing a better automatic flushing system for urinals and bring that to market. What this means is that our sensor can detect how dirty the urinal is and how much water is needed to flush. So we developed a sensor which could be attached to an existing urinal. We are the only ones that can detect when an individual starts and stops peeing. This is already a better product than the typical infrared product, which can only detect whether it is somebody in front and when he leaves, so it flushes. But our sensor detects whether the urinal has been used and how dirty it is, adapting the required water to flush. We started this company based on an idea and developed our own technology, so we do our own research and development. As you can see, we have our own lab where we test all electronics and ceramics. We design our own prints and layouts, but we outsource the production of the sensors. We are not a production company, so we subcontract the production to a trusted manufacturing company in Belgium, close to home. The production is designed that way that our sensors are molded into a resin, which is excellent against any liquids, but also an easy way to protect the product from copying.
In terms of sourcing, we have our own production right around the corner, so to speak. We don't do this ourselves. I don't see us doing this ourselves ever. This is not our strong suit. there are other companies that have far better expertise in this regard. We have a business model that is focused on developing the technology and researching and designing the product. But production is not something we will ever do. But we do want to keep this close to home. But obviously, the commercialization and internationalization still had to start.
Okay, so now you've seen just a short part of one of the video cases that we are producing as part of a project. There is much more to come, so I hope if you are in search of teaching materials that would meet the pedagogical requirements, you know where to look for them and visit our website.